Hi everyone, Cody here. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. In this video I'm going to be showing you all the seedlings I'm starting so far for the 2024 growing season, as well as my setup that's new for this year, and also a very rare plant that I'm happy to say has finally germinated. And I'm also going to be demonstrating a little bit of soil blocking now. Stay tuned. So let's start with my setup, shall we? These are the shelves from my old greenhouse, because I actually got a new greenhouse this year, because you can't buy greenhouse covers anymore, so I figured I'd just get a new greenhouse about the same size, and I've repurposed the shelving to hold all my seedlings, because what I had wasn't really working before earlier with just the table setup. So now I have quite a bit more space, which is good. These seed potting mats are very handy. They're actually just like a tarp that clips together on the sides, and you can up-pot your seedlings in it and not get soil all over the floor. It's also waterproof, but I found it's very good for actually holding loose pots and just something to put them in so that you can water them without getting water on the floor. So I found that very handy. I actually have a smaller one here, which I actually do most of my seed potting in. And so I've got my standard grow light just hanging on a board that actually rests on these little knobs that the original frame was attached to. And so this holds the light really good. And I also have my moldable LED lights in the back, so I got them pointed at some of my other plants that this light doesn't really reach so far. So the combination is good. I got this light actually on a timer that's plugged in there, and the LED has its own built-in timer. And so let's get to know some of my seedlings. Let's start with all these seedlings on the seedling mat. And so these are, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure they're a mixture of broccoli and kale. These were originally microgreens, believe it or not, but I've just let them grow on, and they're going to be full-size plants sooner or later. Pretty sure these ones are kales because they kind of got kale-like leaves. This one looks quite a bit more like a broccoli. And so I also got some apricots. These are apricot trees. Pretty sure they're apricots, right? Yeah. And I'd saved them from some apricots, just the pits that were in apricots that I got at a local market. They're actually from the Okanagan area. So I'm not sure if they'll survive in this zone, but if I can find a good microclimate, we'll see. Maybe they'll survive, hopefully. And I also got these are persimmons that are just starting to germinate. And these are from store-bought persimmons. I have one wild persimmon tree that's already planted outside, but persimmons actually need more than one tree to produce fruit. So if I can get them to cross maybe with these persimmons, that would hopefully, if they survive of course, then maybe I can get some persimmon fruits. There's some chamomile in here. Just a little something to get started. These are coleus cuttings that I took from a dying plant, and now I'm gonna regenerate them and grow them on so that they can become their own plants. It's really easy to do. You just put them in some water for a week or so, and then they'll grow roots, and then you can pot them, and then they'll grow into a whole bunch of plants. I have a whole bunch of other plants elsewhere, the coleus. Yeah, I really like them. They're a nice plant. Let's meet some of my herbs. So this one is bee balm. I've grown bee balm before, but one year I had it in my garden and then the next year it wasn't there. So I don't know if it's a zone problem or it was just, I don't know what happened, but I'm trying again. Bee balm's an excellent plant for pollinators like bees, which really love them. This is holy basil, holy basil. And so I've grown this before too. It's more of a tropical plant, but for this zone, I'm in zone, I think it's a 5B Canadian hardiness zone. And these are only grown as an annual here. Same with this one. It's wild daga, or lion's ear, lion's tail. It's related to motherwort, and it's a good sedative herb. I've grown it several times before, but again, that's just an annual for this zone. This one probably will survive this zone being planted out. This is pennyroyal, which is not really good to be taken internally. But if you rub the leaves on your skin, it acts as a good mosquito repellent, believe it or not. Because mosquitoes absolutely hate the smell of this. Even imagine just having them around will deter them. So, same with lemon balm. Mosquitoes don't like lemon balm, but said I was going to plant lemon balm again, and that's what I did. And I'll have to really find a good spot for it. And hopefully I can continue to have lemon balm. And this is marjoram. That was planned to be grown as well, and it's a good herb spice related to oregano, and it tastes pretty similar, and it makes a good tea as well. So, yeah, so those are main herbs. Now this is new for this year. Never grown them before. These are loofah gourds. And the reason they're called that is because once the fruit matures and dries out, it can be used as a shower loofah, believe it or not. And so I tried planting these seeds last year and they didn't grow for some reason. And I thought they were just dud seeds, but I tried again this year and I got a whole bunch of them. So I don't know what was going on with that, but they need a really long growing season, so that's why I'm starting them pretty early. So down here, got a whole bunch of bell peppers, various varieties, all in reused solo cups. I've used these solo cups for multiple years and they've held up really good. So I got a whole bunch of peppers. It might be a little too early for them. Started them actually, I think, late January. The time you'd normally start hot peppers, but we'll see if bell will do just as good. Started that early. They're looking pretty healthy so far. Got some more over there. About 63 of them or something like that. And so what I did here is I laid down just regular aluminum foil and just kind of folded up the sides on all sides so that I can have these solo cups in them. They have drainage holes, and this is just to catch the water from getting all over the floor. So that's very important for starting seedlings. You gotta avoid getting water on the floor because you don't want that. So whatever you can think of to catch water. I've used just regular plastic bags around these in the past, but they don't really hold up too well, so I just trying different techniques this year. That seemed to be working quite a bit better for me. This one I recently started about at the start of the week maybe. These are cilantro, and I just want to have cilantro herbs going inside. Apparently they don't transplant well, but I have extra seeds I'll be direct sowing. And a couple of them are starting to germinate. One there it looks like, which is good. Not much happening in these ones. These are red columbines, and so I'm going to just be planting them out once it's time. I said I wasn't going to grow it, but I did. These are peanuts, and they need a really long growing season, which I think is why they didn't work for me last year. But this year I started them way early, and I'm going to plant them out, and they'll have a very long growing season, so maybe I'll get peanuts this time. So I had extra seeds anyways, so I just thought, why not plant them anyways? You never know. Yes, it's celery, and it needs to be started pretty early. Likes wet feet, so it likes the soil constantly moist, unlike a lot of seedlings. They're looking pretty healthy. They're a little bit curved towards light. That's okay. But looks like I got quite a lot of them, so that's great. These are all leeks. They're not onions, technically they're leeks. And they look like onions when they're small like this, but they'll obviously grow into leeks. This winter I got a hold of some ultra rare seeds from an endangered plant, very highly sought after entheogenic plant known as intoxicating mint. Yes, the Lagopchilus inebrians. And I am so pleased to say that one seed has germinated so far. Here's a better look at it. That's definitely Lagopchilus inebrians, and seed is still attached to the seedling, but there should be more to come. They take about 4 weeks to germinate. I cold stratified them first, and I planted them in cactus soil in these coconut coir pots in a flat with the heat mat, and that has what I've been doing to get them to germinate. I planted these on Valentine's Day, which was a couple weeks ago, just over a couple weeks ago. They say the seeds take about 4 weeks to germinate, and so I'm sure there's going to be plenty more on the way. Each cell has at least one seed, so I could be playing a very important role in the survival of an endangered species. So let's take a look at my soil blocks. So soil blocking has been around for a long time, but this year I've seen the popularity of it really spike. Just heard about it, and so I got myself a soil blocker. Basically what that is I'll show you in a bit, but you can make blocks of soil just out of wet soil, any kind of soil really, and then you can plant your seeds in it, and there's no real need for pots like this anymore. I actually started these before I got these that soil blocker. It's really good because it cuts down on plastic waste, and the plants are less likely to get root bound because of a thing called air pruning when they reach the sides. Some kind of technical term for that, but they don't really get root bound, and once they grow and colonize the soil block roots, you can just pot them in a bigger pot and then plant them outside, and there's less risk of transplant shock and all that good stuff. So I got these ones are eggplants. These are milkweeds. So this is my first successful attempt with growing milkweeds, and I can attribute that all to the soil blocks, possibly, or I'm just lucky this time. These are marshmallows, Althea officinalis, which is used to make real marshmallows. And over here is miner's lettuce, and you may not heard of them. They're popular foraged edible green in wet kind of forests, particularly along the coast, but they grow up into this region in places as well. And they're just like little wispy little seedlings so far, but they'll grow up and make big thick leaves, which are good for eating as a lettuce substitute. Now I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make your own soil blocks. And so this is the soil blocker. It has 8 cells, which make soil blocks about that size. And so what you'll need is a container, a fairly taller container that holds a good amount of soil. You're going to want the soil to be very wet, enough so that when you squeeze it, water drips out. And that's what helps hold the soil blocks together. And then once it dries, it holds its shape, and then the roots will kind of colonize it and hold it together even better. So to make a soil block, or soil blocks, you just put your soil blocker in here, kind of push down side to side, just so you get soil in those cells. And then you kind of reach up like that. And then push down on this thing, pull up, release, and there you got your soil blocks. Probably isn't the best example. These blocks are a little bit short in height, but you get the idea. So after that, you just kind of level out the soil again and do the same thing again. Push down really hard sometimes. Just lift and then put it right next to your other blocks. Same thing as before. There's some more. And I'm going to do this one more time so I can plant some seeds in these cells. Okay, the seeds I'm going to be planting in here is rosemary, because I got to get on it as soon as possible, because it's getting a little late for starting rosemary seeds, believe it or not. So should have enough blocks for these seeds. We'll see. Looks like there's quite a few seeds in there. So I'm going to be using one of these seeder thingies. Come in very handy. And you just dump your seeds in there when you want to plant. You find the notch on the side that's about the size of these seeds, and then probably go with one numbered there. That's about the size of the seeds. Just put it back in like that. You just tap it very lightly so that only a couple seeds fall in at a time. That can be a little hard to do. And there. So really, all that's the matter is just kind of pinching these holes closed a bit. The soil block didn't really turn out, but it'll still work. It's kind of just like you're closing up peat pellets. Just kind of water them lightly, because you don't want water to kind of erode them away. But after that, you can just bottom water and it'll be perfectly fine. There. Not the best soil blocks I've made, but it'll do. And so the rest of the space is going to be tomatoes. So I'm going to have a lot of tomatoes again this year is the plan. And I could probably fit about 100 tomato soil blocks on here. Should be more than enough. But I'm not going to start them until a little bit later. Maybe end of March, beginning of April. We'll see. Don't forget to label. With these kind of soil blocks, I usually like to put the tag like right in between them just so I know which section of them are what plant. So this section is all rosemary. And just slide it back in place just like that. And there's my grow setup in a nutshell. Hope you enjoyed the little video I made today. Hope this gets you inspired to get growing something and some ideas of what you can do to get started. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a good one, and until next time, happy gardening, everyone.